If you're watching this right now, I already know one thing. You're tired. Not just tired like, I need a nap. Tired like, you've been holding it together for too long. Tired like the kind of fatigue that doesn't go away with sleep. The kind that settles in your bones, in your belief, in your hope. Maybe you've tried everything, maybe you've done everything right, and still it's not working, still you're not there. And some part of you is wondering, what's the point? Why keep going? Maybe this isn't meant for me. If that's you, then this video is for you, not the curated version of you, not the one that smiles in public. This is for the version of you that almost didn't click play today. Let's talk about something most people never admit. Sometimes it's not the big failures that break us. It's the slow erosion. The days where nothing seems to move forward. The weeks where effort feels invisible. The months where progress feels like a lie. You wake up hopeful, just enough. You try again, you push again, you show up again, and nothing gives. That's the exhaustion no one talks about. Because how do you explain that your spirit is worn out, even though on the outside, nothing catastrophic happened? But here's the truth. The world won't always tell you when you're doing well. Sometimes the breakthrough doesn't come with applause. Sometimes the proof comes after the pain. Let's be brutally honest. There's a moment on the journey where giving up actually seems smart. It feels like relief. It feels like escape. It feels like finally letting go of a weight no one sees you carrying. And logically, it makes sense. Because everything in your brain is trying to protect you from pain. And chasing a dream, a change, a goal that keeps hurting, starts to feel like self-sabotage. But here's what logic doesn't understand. Growth isn't logical. Greatness isn't efficient. Healing isn't linear. And when you're standing in the middle of the storm, you can't always see what you're becoming. That's why people quit too early. Not because they're weak, but because the pain of not knowing becomes unbearable. You've probably been taught that pain is wrong. That struggle means something's broken. That doubt means you're failing. But what if that's backwards? What if the pain is a sign that you're right at the edge of the shift? What if the confusion isn't the end, but the space between the old you and the new one? Think of muscles. They tear before they grow. Think of healing. It itches before it closes. Discomfort doesn't mean give up. It means keep going. Something is reorganizing. But most people don't know that, so they stop. Right when it's starting to work, they give up. Not because they weren't good enough, but because they didn't realize how close they were. Let's pause for a second. Take a breath. And remember this. You've survived things you never thought you would. You've kept going when it made no sense. You've rebuilt yourself in silence more than once. So why now? Why stop now? Just because you're tired? That's not weakness, that's just evidence of effort. And guess what? You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to feel everything. You're allowed to say this is hard, without quitting. You don't have to pretend you're fine. But don't mistake being tired for being done. If you're still here, it means you haven't quit, even if your mind keeps whispering that it'd be easier to. Take a second and like this video, subscribe to this channel, and drop a comment below. I'm still standing. That's your line in the sand. That's your I'm not done yet. Back to it. Here's what giving up usually sounds like. Maybe I'm not meant for this. Maybe I'm just not cut out for it. Other people have something I don't. But let me ask you something. Who told you that? Where did you learn that progress has to be perfect? That success comes on the first try. That strength means never struggling, because whoever told you that was either lying to you or lying to themselves. Everyone who's ever built anything worthwhile has wanted to quit at some point, but the difference is this. They didn't let that moment define their future, they let it refine them. Most people think success is built during the highlights, but the truth is, success is built in the dark moments, when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when no one believes in you, including yourself. That's when it's decided. Right now you're in a moment that will one day be part of your story. One day you'll say, there was a time I almost gave up, but I didn't. And that changed everything. The irony, the part that feels unbearable today, will become the reason you're stronger tomorrow. The breakdown becomes the evidence, the low point becomes the launch pad, but only if you don't walk away before it flips. This isn't a video telling you to grind harder, this is a video telling you to pause with purpose. If you need to slow down, do it, but don't collapse. If you need to cry, do it, but don't numb out forever. If you need to reset, beautiful. But make sure you restart. Giving up means leaving the path completely. But rest? That's part of the journey. You don't get a medal for suffering without stopping. You get a breakthrough when you understand your power is in how you recover. You can pause, just don't park. Let me give you the message. I wish someone told me when I wanted to give up. You're not behind, you're not broken, you're just in between. Between who you were and who you're becoming. Between struggle and shift. Between confusion and clarity. And yes, it feels messy here. It feels like failure here, it feels like nothing's working here, but that's what it always feels like. Right before it starts to click, so stay with it. Let it shape you. Let it deepen you. Because if you walk through this, you don't just get the goal, you get the strength that comes with it. So if you made it this far, you didn't give up. Say it out loud or write it in the comments. I'm not done yet. I'm still here. I'm not quitting on myself. Like this video if it gave you even one breath of clarity. Subscribe if you want more content that doesn't sugarcoat it. And share this with someone else who needs a reminder today. You're not alone, you're just rebuilding. And that takes courage most people never choose. This video is for motivational and educational purposes only. It is not mental health or medical advice. Please speak to a professional if you're struggling. You matter.